The coolest man in hip-hop, Snoop Dogg, has officially snapped. We're talking about a full-scale, unhinged physical assault on 50 Cent backstage that has left the entire industry paralyzed with fear. This isn't a Twitter beef or a diss track. This is raw violence. Reports are flooding in that Snoop lunged at 50 Cent, bypassing 3 layers of elite security, screaming about betrayal after witnessing just 10 minutes of a leaked documentary episode. Inside that room, Jay-Z and Dr. Dre. They didn't move. They couldn't move. The air turned to ice as the West Coast King tried to physically silence the King of Trolls. But what did Snoop see? What's secret from 1996 is so dark that it turned a peace-loving icon into a calculated attacker. Stay tuned because we have the leaked details of that footage, and trust me, hip-hop will never be the same after tonight. To understand why Snoop Dogg, the man who has spent the last 2 decades promoting peace, love, and gin and juice, would risk his entire billion-dollar brand to physically assault 50 Cent, you have to understand the terrifying new era of documentary warfare that 50 Cent has unleashed upon the world. For 30 years, hip-hop feuds were settled in the booth with bars or in the streets with muscle. But in 2026, 50 Cent has changed the rules of engagement. He isn't a rapper anymore. He is a digital executioner. After the catastrophic fallout from his Netflix masterpiece, Sean Combs, The Reckoning, which pulled in over 51 million views and essentially ended the public life of one of the most powerful men in music, 50 Cent realized he held the ultimate weapon. He doesn't need a microphone, he needs a hard drive. He has spent the last year quietly amassing a massive archive of lost tapes from the 90s, paying off former studio engineers, disgruntled assistants, and even retired federal agents to hand over material that was never meant to see the light of day. Snoop Dogg and 50 Cent have always maintained a business friendship. They've performed together, shared the Super Bowl stage, and laughed on Instagram. But insiders say a Cold War has been simmering behind the scenes for months. The tension began when 50 Cent announced his newest, most secretive project, The West Coast Chronicles, The Ghost of Long Beach. 50 Cent didn't just want to tell a story. He wanted to expose the original sin of the West Coast. Snoop Dogg allegedly reached out to 50 multiple times, offering to consult on the project. In the industry, consulting is code for censoring. Snoop wanted to make sure his legacy stayed intact. But 50 Cent, true to his ruthless nature, ignored every call, every text, and every DM. He wasn't looking for a partner. He was looking for a target. You see, Snoop Dogg's Uncle Snoop persona is the most valuable brand in rap. He is the peacekeeper, the elder statesman, the man who bridges the gap between the streets and the corporate world. But 50 Cent knew that every legend has a shadow. He knew that the 1996 era, the year Tupac Shakur was taken from us, and the year Death Row Records collapsed, contained secrets that Snoop Dogg thought were buried forever under layers of non-disclosure agreements and high-priced lawyers. The industry knew a collision was coming, but nobody expected it to be this violent. 50 Cent had been dropping breadcrumbs on social media for weeks, blurry screenshots of 1996 police reports and silent clips of grainy hotel footage. He was baiting the big dog, waiting for Snoop to bark. But Snoop didn't bark, he waited. He waited for the private screening in North Hollywood, thinking he could handle it like a businessman. What Snoop didn't realize is that 50 Cent doesn't do business. He does damage. 50 Cent had allegedly recovered a specific 15-minute rough cut from episode 4 that directly involves Snoop's interactions with law enforcement during the most chaotic period of the East Coast-West Coast War. This wasn't just gossip. This was a direct threat to Snoop's street cred and his corporate endorsements. When you look at the history of these two, it was bound to explode. 50 Cent survived 9 bullets to become a legend. Snoop Dogg survived the most dangerous era in rap to become a global icon. 2 immovable objects were headed for each other, and the impact was destined to leave a permanent scar on the culture. This isn't just about a fight. It's about who gets to tell the story of the 90s and who gets buried by it. The stage was set. The billionaire witnesses were in the room. The lights were about to go down. And for Snoop Dogg, the coolest man in rap, the countdown to the biggest mistake of his career had officially begun. The atmosphere inside the exclusive G-Unit film labs in North Hollywood was electric, but it wasn't the good kind. It was heavy, suffocating, and terrifying. The date was March 22nd, 2026. This wasn't a public event. This was a gathering of the Billionaire Boys Club of rap. Jay-Z and Beyoncé were there, sitting in a private alcove. Dr. Dre was present, looking uncharacteristically nervous. Nas was leaning against a wall, observing the room with his signature stoicism. And of course, Snoop Dogg and 50 Cent were there, two kings of the game, seemingly sharing a polite nod before the lights went down. 50 Cent had promised a revolutionary preview of his new production studio. He didn't say it was going to be an industry execution. He had reportedly invited Snoop and Dre under the guise of showing them respect before the final cut of his new documentary series, The West Coast Chronicles. But sources close to the situation say 50 Cent had a different plan. He wanted to see their faces when they realized he had the master keys to their past. The lights dimmed. The massive screen flickered to life. The title card appeared, simple but chilling. Episode 4. The Long Beach Confessions. The room went silent. Dr. Dre reportedly shifted in his seat, a clear sign of discomfort. The footage was grainy, old, 1996 archival tape. It wasn't about music. It was about surviving. It showed a young Snoop Dogg in a nondescript hotel room. His iconic braids were there, but his face looked tired, desperate. He was speaking to two men whose faces were blurred, but whose voices sounded remarkably like high-ranking federal investigators. Then the audio kicked in. It was crystal clear. It was Snoop Dogg's voice, unmistakable. "If you want the big fish," Snoop was heard saying, his voice a whisper of betrayal, "you gotta let the little ones swim first. I can get you access, but I need security." The room froze. Jay-Z looked over at Dr. Dre, a silent question hanging in the air. Dr. Dre looked down at his shoes, his face a mask of paralyzed shock. Beyoncé reportedly grabbed Jay-Z's hand, a clear sign of the tension in the room. Snoop Dogg didn't move. He didn't blink. He stared at the screen, watching his 20-year-old self break the ultimate code of the streets. The camera then panned back to show the date stamp, October 1996, 1 month after the murder of Tupac Shakur. Snoop Dogg, at 54 years old, stood up. He didn't scream. He didn't shout. He moved with a speed that defied his age. He jumped over the seating area, completely bypassing 3 layers of elite G-Unit security who were momentarily distracted by the shocking footage. Snoop Dogg didn't use words. He used his fists. He launched himself at 50 Cent, who was sitting in the back row, calmly sipping his champagne and smirking. Sources say Snoop landed 2 solid, professional punches to 50 Cent's jaw before any security guard could even process what was happening. The room erupted into total chaos. The billionaire witnesses stood there, completely helpless. Jay-Z shielding Beyoncé, Nas shouting for everyone to stop the tape, and Dr. Dre yelling at the projectionist, who was surprisingly not stopping the footage. It was a full-scale, unhinged physical assault. Snoop Dogg was screaming, a sound of raw, emotional pain and betrayal. "I gave you everything, and you sold me out for a Netflix check," he reportedly shouted as he was being physically dragged off a bleeding 50 Cent by 5 massive G-Unit bodyguards. The West Coast King, known for his cool persona, had lost his cool, and the reason was right there on the screen. But here is the first shocking twist that makes this situation infinitely worse. As Snoop was being dragged out of the room, he wasn't looking at 50 Cent. He was looking at Dr. Dre. And the camera, which was surprisingly still rolling, caught Snoop Dogg shouting, "He's got the aftermath tapes too, Dre. Everything we said in '96. He's got it all." This wasn't just Snoop's secret. This was a direct threat to Dr. Dre's entire empire. The footage wasn't just showing Snoop's betrayal, it was hinting at a much larger conspiracy that involves the entire aftermath and death row umbrella. Dr. Dre's face, captured by an unedited security feed, showed a look of total, paralyzed terror. Snoop Dogg hadn't just attacked 50 Cent. He had accidentally confirmed that 50 Cent held the digital nuclear code to the entire history of West Coast hip-hop. The fight wasn't just a reaction. It was a desperate, failed attempt to prevent a much larger collapse. And now the whole world knows that something much bigger than a 90s grudge is about to explode. The real war has just begun. The physical fight in North Hollywood was just the spark. The explosion happened online less than 60 minutes later. While Snoop Dogg was reportedly being escorted out of the building in handcuffs and 50 Cent was receiving medical attention for a fractured jaw, the G-Unit machine was already at work. 50 Cent didn't call the police. He didn't file a lawsuit. He did something much more devastating. He hit upload. By 2 a.m., a grainy, 45-second clip of the backstage brawl surfaced on a Burner X Twitter account. It showed the exact moment Snoop Dogg lunged across the seats, his face twisted in a mask of pure, unadulterated rage. But it wasn't the punch that went viral. It was the audio of Snoop's desperate scream. He's got the aftermath tapes too, Dre. Everything we said in '96. The internet meltdown. Within 3 hours, hashtag Snoop vs. 50 and hashtag the aftermath tapes were the top 2 trending topics globally. The speculation was out of control. At Rap Insider 2026. Wait, Snoop just confirmed 50 Cent has tapes from '96? Is he talking about the Tupac investigation? If Dre is panicked, this is bigger than rap. This is federal. At West Coast Queen, I never thought I'd see Snoop Dogg catch a battery charge in 2026. 50 Cent really pushed the legend to his breaking point. This feels like the end of an era. But the escalation didn't stop with fan theories. Major industry players began picking sides. Rick Ross immediately jumped on Instagram Live, popping a bottle of Luc Belaire and laughing so hard he could barely speak. Officer Ricky reporting for duty. Looks like the billionaire troll finally got his chin checked. Snoop, I'm sending a private jet to LA right now. We got you, King. Even the game chimed in with a chilling one-sentence post. 50 just signed his own eviction notice from California. Some doors you don't open. As the sun began to rise over Los Angeles, the tension reached a fever pitch. Rumors began circulating that Dr. Dre had authorized his legal team to offer 50 Cent $150 million to buy the entire documentary series and burn the master files. The industry was holding its breath, waiting for 50 Cent to take the money and run. But 50 Cent has never been about the money. He's about the power. At 8 a.m., 50 Cent posted a photo of his bruised, swollen face on Instagram. He wasn't grimacing, he was smiling. The caption read, Snoop hits like a frustrated old man. But the tapes hit like a freight train. Episode 4 isn't just about Long Beach anymore. It's about the whole aftermath. See you Friday. Hashtag gun it, hashtag the truth is free. Then came the shocking reveal that changed the entire narrative. A whistleblower from the G-Unit editing suite leaked a memo that suggested the Long Beach confessions wasn't just about Snoop Dogg talking to investigators. The memo alleged that the footage contains DNA evidence talk regarding a cold case from 1996 that everyone thought was closed. But here is the real kicker. The leak suggests that the man in the mask seen in the hotel room with Snoop, the person recording the conversation, wasn't a federal agent. The forensic audio analysis of the leaker suggests the voice belongs to a high-ranking executive who is still active in the industry today, someone who has been Snoop's closest ally for 30 years. This means Snoop Dogg didn't just attack 50 Cent because he was being exposed. He attacked him because he realized he had been betrayed by his own circle 3 decades ago, and 50 Cent was the only one who had the proof. This shocking reveal isn't just that Snoop talked, it's that the person who set Snoop up is currently sitting at the top of the music industry, and 50 Cent is about to name him. Snoop isn't just fighting for his legacy. He's fighting to stop a civil war within the West Coast elite that will destroy everyone involved. The cliffhanger? 50 Cent just updated his bio to a single name, and it's a name that has Dr. Dre and Jay-Z terrified. The fallout from the North Hollywood backstage massacre has created a seismic shift in hip-hop that hasn't been seen since the mid-90s. By Tuesday morning, March 24th, 2026, social media wasn't just buzzing, it was exploding. The world is now fractured into 2 extremist camps, hashtag Team Snoop and hashtag Team 50. The fan war. On TikTok and Instagram, Team Snoop supporters are calling for a global boycott of G-Unit film and television. Viral videos show fans burning their Power Universe merchandise and G-Unit sneakers. Snoop Dogg is a cultural saint. One creator screamed in a video with 4 million views. 50 Cent is a parasite who digs up 30-year-old trauma just to pump his stock price. Some things are sacred, and Snoop is one of them. Meanwhile, Team 50 is hitting back with ruthless logic. They argue that the street code is a myth used to protect powerful men from the consequences of their actions. If Snoop talked to the feds in '96, we have a right to know, a popular YouTube commentator argued. Why are you mad at 50 Cent for showing the tape? Be mad at the man who's on the tape. 50 is just the delivery man. The industry backlash. Inside the industry, the panic is palpable. Dr. Dre has reportedly gone into total seclusion in his Brentwood estate, refusing to answer calls from anyone, including 50 Cent. But Rick Ross is having the time of his life. He posted a series of videos mocking 50 Cent's bruised jaw, offering to buy Snoop Dogg a custom gold-plated brass knuckle for the next round. The bully finally got bullied, Ross shouted while lounging by his pool. Snoop, you're the heavyweight champion of the world today, baby. However, the most chilling reaction came from Jay-Z. While he hasn't made a formal statement, a source close to Roc Nation leaked that Jay-Z is deeply disappointed in the breach of privacy. The subtext was clear. The billionaires are terrified. If 50 Cent can take down Snoop, nobody is safe. Mainstream news outlets like CNN and MSNBC are even running segments titled "The Death of the Rap Legend," debating whether this scandal will permanently erase Snoop's Uncle Snoop image. The division is so deep that major sponsors like Pepsi and Corona are reportedly pausing their campaigns with Snoop Dogg until the full documentary drops. The air is thick with tension, and every single person in the industry is waiting for the next tweet, the next leak, or the next punch. Just when the world thought Snoop Dogg was the one under the microscope, 50 Cent dropped a nuclear bomb that has shifted the entire target. At 11 p.m. on March 24, 2026, 50 Cent posted a 10-second silent clip on his Instagram story. It wasn't footage of the fight. It wasn't even footage of Snoop. It was a close-up of a high-definition contract from 1996, and the signature at the bottom didn't belong to Snoop Dogg. It belonged to Dr. Dre. The caption was a single, chilling sentence. Snoop didn't hit me because I exposed him. He hit me because I found out who told him to talk to the feds. Look at the signature, Dre. October 12th, 1996. The day the West Coast was sold. The final twist. The industry is paralyzed. The new theory exploding across the dark web is that Snoop Dogg was never the snitch. He was the fall guy. The leaked documents allegedly suggest that in 1996, in order to save the newly formed Aftermath Entertainment from a federal RICO investigation, a deal was struck. Snoop Dogg was reportedly ordered by his closest mentors to cooperate with investigators to provide a distraction while the big fish moved their money into offshore accounts. Snoop Dogg didn't attack 50 Cent because he was ashamed of his past. He attacked him because 50 Cent had proof that Snoop was sacrificed by his own brothers. Snoop has spent 30 years carrying a secret that wasn't even his to carry, and 50 Cent just pulled back the curtain on the ultimate betrayal. The industry panic. Reportedly, within minutes of this post, Jay-Z and Dr. Dre were seen entering a private emergency meeting at a secure location in Bel Air. The Billionaire Boys Club is in a total state of emergency. If 50 Cent releases the full audio of that October 12th meeting, it won't just be the end of Snoop's Uncle Snoop image. It will be the criminal indictment of the most powerful executives in music history. But here is the final cliffhanger that is keeping everyone awake tonight. A whistleblower from the LA County Sheriff's Department has allegedly confirmed that a third party has just filed an anonymous police report against 50 Cent for possession of stolen federal documents. If 50 Cent doesn't hand over the hard drives by Friday, he could be facing 20 years in prison. 50 Cent's last response? A picture of himself sitting in a dark room with a single hard drive on the table, captioned, "I already sent the backup to a burner account in Dubai. If anything happens to me," they enter key gets hit automatically. Friday is Judgment Day. Who's ready to see the real king of the West Coast fall? The world is holding its breath. Is 50 Cent about to be arrested? Will Snoop Dogg retaliate again? Or will the aftermath tapes finally reveal the truth about the most famous murder in hip-hop history? The clock is ticking, and the Long Beach confessions are about to become the industry's funeral. This is the biggest scandal in hip-hop history, and we are right in the middle of it. What do you think? Is Snoop Dogg a victim of a 30-year betrayal by Dr. Dre? Or is 50 Cent finally showing us the truth about the King of the West Coast? The Long Beach confessions drop this Friday, and we'll be live streaming the fallout. Drop your theories in the comments below right now. I'm reading every single one. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe with notifications on. If 50 Cent hits that enter key, you need to be the first to know. Stay tuned. The industry is burning.